This is TNN, the Nashville Network.
Diamond P Sports presents the American Sports Cavalcade. A panorama of speed, color, drama, and excitement. The American Sports Cavalcade.
Some of the finest hogs in the world. Just a tremendous deal, and it's all done by nobody is leaving here hungry, including. Here's some dance. Well, I'll tell you. Over the years here on American Sports Cavalcade, I've had the pleasure of bringing you the occasional culinary report from the racing scene. Usually to tell you about the good stuff at a particular track, and a couple of times to warn you off some really bad grub. Well, I am happy to tell you that today I have awarded my highest rating ever for bench racing and burgers to Bucks, just outside the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. I give Bucks 3.5 microphones. I never give any place for it because then there'd be no room for me. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Evans, and from Mid-Ohio, one of America's most beautiful road racing courses, today we bring you the EBC Performance Classic, AMA Championship Motorcycle Road Racing. You know, to compete in any form of motorsports takes a certain courage quotient. As far as I'm concerned, the men who ride these machines are off the scale. And even though the bikes are diminutive compared to race cars, they're no less work for the crews. None of these guys will be seeing Bucks this afternoon, not until well after the racing. Now, you're looking at the 250 GP bikes. We'll be seeing those later on in the show. To find out what we're leading with, well, here's my buddy Brock Yates.
Steve, we are going to have some fun here today. Motorcycle racing on this 2.5-mile Mid-Ohio road course. The weather, well, a little bit iffy. It's been raining on and off. That's going to make it interesting for the crew chiefs and the riders as far as the tire selection is concerned. But speaking of interest, have we got some good stuff coming up later? We've got the U.S. Twin Sports. Those are the Harley-Davidsons, the classic American motorcycles, all racing in a giant pack, big, noisy motorcycle. Is going to be a lot of fun. But before that, we've got the Circle Bell Pro Twins. 2 classes, interesting motorcycles. And for more on that, let's go down to the grid to our pal, Mike Joy.
Brock, this is the rumble of 2-cylinder motorcycles, the battle of the twins, the Circle Bell Pro Twin Series. And on the front row, Dr. David Kiefer from Miami. He's chosen rain tires to start this event. Alongside in the third position, Kevin Irian from Los Angeles, the only Japanese bike on the front row. He's on a Honda. The other 3 ride Ducatis. James Adamo settling in, just doing a little limbering up before he hops on. He's from New York State. He's a 3-time series champion. And on the pole from Louisiana, Jamie James, who's won all 5 of the Circle Bell Twins Series races this year. He could wrap up the championship today.
But before we start, let's go to Steve, who earlier had a look at the rules complexities here.
You know, as we mentioned, there's 2 classes running together in Pro Twins, GP1 and GP2. This is the GP2 bike of Kevin Irian. It's a Honda, and it can only be 750 cc's, no bigger, and it can't weigh any less than 350 pounds. Other than that, anything goes. Build your own frame. Do anything you want to the engine. Use titanium, magnesium, but be careful. AMA has a claiming rule. Anyone entered can buy your bike at the end of the race for $10,000. If you've got $30,000 in it, well, you wouldn't. That's the whole point of the rule. Now, no one has claimed a bike yet under this new rule, but there's a lot of rumors floating around that some of these machines, including this one, may be in somebody else's trailer when they leave Mid-Ohio.
Okay, Steve and Mike, let's go racing. Back to the grid. This is Frank Shockley. He's on a 750 Ducati. Right beside him, the 99 of Robert Griffiths. That's a Moto Guzzi. 1,000 cc's there, Steve.
Well, here's a bike half the size. Kurt Kimball, bike number 34, a Kawasaki 500 from San Jose, California. And number 94, Fabian Cortez on a Ducati 750 from Philadelphia. So that's a look at the front row of the GP2 class. It's actually the 4th row overall. In front of them are 3 waves of GP1 riders, Brock.
Right, Steve. 21 bikes will start in GP2, but up front, the 73 motorcycle of Jamie James with that fantastic Ducati there on the far side of your screen, and we're off. We've got a green flag.
And it is Jamie James. Wheels in the air. The start so important here. They try to stay in low gear all the way to that first corner if they possibly can.
And there's your GP2 start with Fabian Cortez and that Ducati 750 taking the lead. You notice that the yellow number plates are the GP2 bikes, the white number plates, the GP1 motorcycles.
And don't be surprised if you see some of the yellow plates up with the white plates. They're capable of doing that. Here is number 73. That is Jamie James on the Ducati. Jim Adamo, number 26, is right behind him. And alongside Adamo is a Honda, number 71 of Kevin Arion.
All right, but back among the GP2 riders as they go through the keyhole at the top of the straightaway here, it's still Fabian Cortez on that Ducati leading as they come off and head down the longest and fastest part of this racetrack.
And back up front, here is Jim Adamo, number 26, inside Jamie James on 73. The James, yes, he comes right back as the Ducatis battle it out. And more than an interested spectator is Kevin Arion, number 71, the Honda, as he is taking a shot at the leaders, trying it on the outside, but no, Jim Adamo holds him off.
So as Jamie James kind of pulls out into a little bit of a lead, the battle is for seconds between Adamo and Kevin Arion in the 71. And Arion comes through. The Los Angeles, California rider on that Honda 750 grabs hold of second place.
And loses it just as quick and takes it back again. What a seesaw battle in second spot between the Honda and the Ducati. And checking back with the yellow plates in GP2, there's the leader, Pete Johnson. He's from Sterling, Pennsylvania. He's riding a 750 Honda. And, you know, he started back in the second row, so must have been very alert when the flag fell, Brock.
Yeah, with some good horsepower in hand, too, Steve, because as you can see, he's pulled out to a big lead in his class and has some of the GP1 riders in sight.
But still in front, I mean way up front with the GP1 riders is Jamie James on the number 73 Ducati. He leads the early laps here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in the EBC Brakes Performance Classic. Stay with us. We'll be back for some great two-wheeled action.
Brought to you by Dodge for performance, quality, safety, and value. Welcome home, America. And by Goodyear Eagle Tires. Goodyear, because there really is a difference.
George 117 in pursuit of request additional backup. Do you copy? 117. San 216, we copy. Approaching 6900 block. Let's get a roadblock.
More police cars throughout America come on Goodyear Eagle radials than any other brand of tires. Why? Because they want it that way.
Attention all units.
Goodyear Eagles. The authorities know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
For me, it's the perfect truck.
Jim Ortballs had a Ford Ranger.
It will handle a load. It will get up and move.
Brian Thompson came home from Toyota.
I like the Dodge Dakota the best.
It just makes me feel good to drive it.
The mid-size Dakota, now available with V8 power.
There's no substitute for cubic inches.
For less money than a 4-liter V6 Ford Ranger.
America, it's about time you gave me something that I needed.
It's a good, sound truck.
Welcome home, America. Come see what we're made of.
I bought the Dodge. Just feels like quality.
We're Katie and Al. Join us Monday for Video Morning.
We'll be here. We'll start off your week with 3 hours of country music videos, and we'll have George Jones, Conway, a bunch from Hank Jr., plus the ladies, Reba, KT, and Patty.
And we'll celebrate the opening of the first Turkish bath about 100 years ago. 60 cents, you could go wash a Turk.
Saturday, Kathy Mattea and Scottish singer-songwriter Doogie McLean star on the American Music Shop.
Steaks, chicken fried.
Then, on the Texas Connection, the classic Texas songwriter Guy Clark, plus newcomer Chris Wall, the American Music Shop, and the Texas Connection. Saturday starting at 10 Eastern on TNN, the Nashville Network.
Just a little bit of cloud cover here in Lexington, Ohio, as this little town right between Columbus and Cleveland has hosted enormously interesting automobile and motorcycle races right here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And right now we've got GP2 and GP1 action, Steve Evans.
Absolutely, the Pro Twins. And in the GP2 class, the bikes with the yellow plates, number 14, Peter Johnson's up front on a Honda. Craig Shambo, number 7 on a Ducati, started in the 5th row. They're now followed by Scott Williams, Ducati, Rich Paxton, Ducati, and Frank Shockley, also a Ducati.
And in GP1, Jamie James continues to lead it. James Adamo second, Kevin Arian third. Chris Thomas and Pablo Real round out the top 5. Meanwhile, back in GP2, 3 motorcycle riders are all tied together in a race for 3rd through 5th. That's Frank Shockley, Rich Paxton, and Scott Williams all on Ducatis. And there is the 5 motorcycle of Frank Shockley, who's just taken over 3rd spot.
And Brock, all these riders, as if they don't have enough to worry about, keeping a keen eye, I think, for any wet patches. We're in a borderline rain situation here in Mid-Ohio. It could happen at any minute. Might be happening at one place on the racetrack and not another. We have a terrific fight now right up front in the GP2 class. Number 14, Peter Johnson on the Honda. Number 7, Craig Shambaugh on the Ducati. Shambaugh has been passing rider after rider. He started inside row number 8 overall, and now he's taking a shot at Johnson. Ducati versus Honda, and Ducati's got him.
As he goes up into the keyhole. Terrific ride by Craig Shambaugh. And now he's moved out to a pretty solid lead on Peter Johnson. And let's see what kind of horsepower he has going down the long straightaway, Steve.
Well, Shambaugh did not display this kind of performance in qualifying, or it started further up in the back than he did. But whatever the problem was with motorcycle or rider, they definitely have it corrected, as Shambaugh now leads on bike number 7 in the GP2 class. The competition back with the yellow plates is actually quite a bit keener than it is with the more unlimited machines.
Well, you know, Steve, we've had a ton of racing today here at Mid-Ohio. Just all kinds of great motorcycles. And earlier, we had the EBC Brakes Monsterbike Shootout.
And they aren't kidding when they call them Monsterbike. They can be as big as 1,100 cc's and some interesting twists. It's a 5-lap sprint. But there's a mandatory rider change, and that cannot come on lap number 1. And the teams qualified from yesterday's endurance race results. And the team to watch is the team that won that endurance race, and that is Tom Kipp and Dale Quarterly on bike number 1. Tom Kipp started for the Dutchman Racing Team.
That was an 1,100cc Suzuki, and right next to him in second place was the 45 of Danny Walker. That's a Yamaha 750, and that motorcycle and rider made a great start.
Now, if you're the team manager, do you start your quickest rider or the second quickest? In the case of bike number 1, they put their top gun on it, Tom Kipp, to try to get as big a lead early as possible. His teammate Dale Quarterly, well, he was set up as the closer in this competition, and Mike talked to him after lap number 1.
Dale Quarterly, whose motorcycle comes past in the lead. Dale is at an advantage stopping early or stopping later in this event?
I don't know if it's an advantage either way. What's kind of helped in the past is we get the pit stop done with, and we can tell if we're a little further or farther behind. Or what happened at one race was they put the better rider on the second stint. So you had to really go out and get a lead at the beginning to try and hold it at the end. So it's kind of hard to say, you know, which way's better.
Dale didn't have to wait very long. At the end of lap number 2, Tom Kipp gave up the lead and headed for the pits. Mike Joy was there to call the rider change.
Here is Kipp slamming to a stop. He's off the motorcycle before a stop, and Quarterly is gone.
Wow, try that one in your driveway sometime. Terrific rider change there as Quarterly got underway in 3rd place. So he had fallen back only a few seconds as the leader. That was Danny Walker on the 45 motorcycle, came in for his rider change.
And the new rider was to be John Hopperstad. We were interested to see if they could complete the rider change as well as Quarterly and Kipp did. It was like Pony Express time. The bike never really even totally stopped. This was Hopperstad. Oh, not quite as quick for sure. They lost a couple of seconds, I'd say there, Brock.
Yeah, easily, as Dale Quarterly continued to charge on that 1,100cc Suzuki. He was in second place as the 45 of John Hopperstad gave chase, trying to make up some distance there after a little bobble in their rider change. Here came Quarterly up into the keyhole, and right behind him was 45. That's John Hopperstad out of Boulder, Colorado on that 750 Yamaha.
Well, on lap number 4, not only did the leader, number 25, Jay Denham, get a lot of pressure from number 1, Dale Quarterly, but Denham had not yet gone into the pits and exchanged his motorcycle with his teammate, Ben Beasley. Beasley was waiting anxiously on the road, hoping that Denham didn't give up any more room that he would have to try to find in the closing lap of the event. And here came Jay Denham into the pit area, and doing so gave up the lead to number 1, Dale Quarterly, but he had a very enthusiastic rider waiting for it, Ben Beasley, who hoped to try to get that lead back. In the brilliant orange leathers, A decent exchange until Brocky got his right knee kind of hung up on the seat.
A little bit of trouble for Beasley, but nothing compared to John Hopperstad on the 45. His motorcycle died out on the back straightaway, and he was out as Dale Quarterly rode home to take the checkered flag to share the victory with Tom Kim on their 1100cc Suzuki in a terrific and interesting 5-lap Monsterbike shootout.
That was fun, but it's time to rejoin the Pro Twins GP. And up front in GP2, a trio of Ducatis. Number 7, Craig Shambaugh. Number 5, Frank Shockley. Number 72, Scott Williams. The closest Honda is number 14, Peter Johnson, in 4th position. But Frank Shockley, Brock, right now on number 5, he has got the lead.
But only for a second, as look at this. Shambaugh on the 7 comes right back under hard braking at the end of the straightaway to retake that lead. And look at the 14 of Peter Johnson up in there as well.
Johnson just kind of snuck in there on the 750 Honda as the Ducatis were duking it out. That was an interesting move. And add to the fray the overall leader, number 73, Jamie James, as he came roaring through.
Brought to you by Xerox Antifreeze Coolant. The temperature never drops below Xerox.
The temperature never drops below Xerox. That's important to remember at a time like this, when it's very dark and very cold. Ah, you did remember Xerox Antifreeze. The temperature never drops below Xerox.
Are you still living with this nightmare? Over 1 million motorists have said never again. They've switched to Triple Edge, and the difference is amazing.
This is the first set of wipers that really work for my car. Triple Edge has made my driving easier and safer.
Triple Edge is the world's first high-tech windshield wiper. It clears, it cleans, it wipes dry, all in a single pass. But that's not all. Triple Edge wipers are not made of rubber. They won't tear, dry rot, or freeze to your windshield. Triple Edge is made from DuPont Nordell, the same material used in 50,000-mile radial tires. It's so strong, we guarantee these wipers for as long as you own your car. If they ever fail, we'll replace them free.
Triple Edge wipers are absolutely great. It's been raining for 2 weeks straight, and I almost enjoy driving in it.
Triple Edge gives you visibility through the heaviest downpour. It whisks away snow and ice. Even mud is no match for Triple Edge. State troopers, ambulances, and taxi cabs are now using these incredible wipers. Shouldn't you?
The day after I got my Triple Edge wipers, we had a big snowstorm with blowing sleet and wind. Everybody had trouble seeing except me. My visibility was beautiful.
Join the satisfied million who have switched to Triple Edge. No noise, no streaking, no smearing, no tearing. They're custom fit to install in seconds on your car, van, or truck. Triple Edge wipers are only $19.95 a pair, guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Order yours now. They're the last windshield wipers you'll ever buy.
Call toll-free 1-800-767-9400. That's 1-800-767-9400. Or send $19.95 plus $4.50 shipping and handling to Triple Edge Wipers, 2 Morgan Avenue, Norwalk, Connecticut. Please include your car or car's make, model, and year for correct sizing. Use your credit card and call now. 1-800-767-9400.
Back at Mid-Ohio, where the motorcycles and the Pro Twins have put on a great show. The final lap, Jamie James in the lead. I'm Brock Gates along with Steve Evans and Mike Joy, and it has been a really interesting afternoon so far, Steve.
You bet it has, Brock, and we've only just begun. We've got the 250 GP bikes coming up in our next event. James Adamo, he's had a very interesting afternoon on his Ducati. He has still not given up hope of catching the leader, Jamie James, in the GP1 class, and he's got him within sight. When you can see James, you got a shot.
Well, I would say that with an experienced rider like Jamie, he's going to have to bobble on the Ducati for Adamo to have any kind of a chance. This is one of the finest young riders in the business as we watch those two leaders slide through on the final lap here.
And this is the lead in the GP2 class. Number 7, Craig Shambaugh, on his Ducati is first, and he appears to have a pretty significant lead. And there's the checkered flag. Jamie James, number 73, wins GP1. Craig Shambaugh on number 7 wins also, but in the GP2 class with the yellow plates, and they're both Ducatis. Well, Jamie James and Craig Shambaugh, they're no longer concerned about the weather, but everybody else who has to race today certainly is. And the smaller the racing engine, it would seem the more susceptible they are to changing weather conditions. Earlier, Brock Yates visited the 250 GP garage area to see just how the crew chiefs and tuners tune these engines to the particular weather conditions.
Steve, a modern racing motorcycle runs right on the ragged edge of tuning. In fact, so much so that weather becomes a major factor. Doug Bronick, one of the top 250 GP riders, has brought along basically a mini weather station to work these things out.
Yes, we have here a barometer, a temperature compensated barometer, and a hygrometer or humidity gauge, and a precision thermometer. With this information and using these charts, we can compile what we call corrected relative air density. That information tells us exactly which main jet to put in the carburetor. And about a 3% change in this will equal 1 jet size in the carburetor.
Now, Doug, what's this gauge here on the instrument panel? It's an odd-looking one.
This is an exhaust gas temperature gauge. We use it to monitor basically the combustion temperature. We're looking for about 1,000 to 1,100 degrees temperature, and when we get that, that's the bike is performing at its optimum.
Well, I tell you what, I thought this was pretty simple. I thought all you had to do is jump on this thing and crack the throttle wide open. Not so simple, Steve.
Yeah, you got to be Willard Scott to tune one of these things. Well, Prairieville, Louisiana's Jamie James is off that number 73 bike, and Mike Joy is down there to talk with the champ.
Well, Jamie, that makes it, what, 6 for 6 and nails down the championship. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. I'm real happy about it. It was kind of treacherous conditions. I didn't really want to do anything foolish, and we chose the wrong rear tire. It was a little bit drier than we thought, and the soft tire kind of went off a little bit faster than we thought it would.
Well, you sure were getting some bite the way you were picking that front wheel coming back to the start-finish line every lap.
Well, this new 851 Ducati is one of the fastest ones probably in the nation, if not maybe the world. So it makes my job a lot easier, I'll tell you. The crew does just a fantastic job on it, and I'm thankful to them.
Okay, great ride today.
Thank you.
Jamie James wins it on that rocket ship Ducati number 73. James Adamo, also a Ducati, bike number 26. Kevin Arion snuck into third on a 750 Honda number 71, followed by Thomas and Rial, also Ducatis.
And Craig Shambaugh wins GP2 and Ducati. Peter Johnson in the only Honda in the top 5, along with Shockley, Williams, and Paxton on Ducatis. Let's go to the winner.
Craig Shambaugh came from the back to win in Group 2. Well, you had a wild ride today.
Yeah, I did. Everything worked out good. I was in a race just before this, and I found out that my tire choice was right. And it turns out that the privateer had an advantage over the factory guys, because what happened is I was too poor to buy the rain groove tires, or I probably would have had them on. I had to stick with what I had. Everything worked out good. So
that must be really fun racing coming from the back to the front like that.
Oh, it is. It was definitely fun, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I thought Griffin was going to be my competition, but I think he made a wrong tire choice is really what I think it was. Because I think he had DOT tires, which are street-oriented tires, and it didn't quite hold the grip going in. But things happen. Luck is very much a part of racing. I don't think people realize just how hard it is. There's too many things to go wrong, and you're just very fortunate when things go right. Thank you.
And I don't think people will realize how important tire choice is and how many there were to choose from. Okay, our next event is getting set on the grid, the 250 GP bikes. Now, these are really some wild machines. That's number 13, Dale Franklin, just kind of waiting, getting his thoughts together as the mechanic keeps the engine and spark plug cleaned out by wicking the throttle. Jeff Farmer, number 86, also waiting. He'll be starting 5th in the second row. And we'll be back with more of the EBC Brakes Performance Classic.